We're trying.
Are you being a smart aleck, Karen? Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. It's a joy to welcome everyone gathered here on site and online, hello, to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Harford County. I'm Sue Knaus. My pronouns are she and her, and leading this service with me today is the incomparable worship associate, Cindy Curry.
I don't know if I can live up to that, but I'll try. I'm Cindy Curry. My pronouns are she, her. I'd like to extend a special welcome to newcomers, especially those who are here for the first time. You're welcome to stay for the potluck lunch after the service. Can everyone hear me okay? Is this actually, or okay?
You good? Unitarian Universalism is a tradition that values diversity and embraces the wisdom of all faiths. We use science, reason, and the gifts of the Spirit to explore life's mystery and meaning.
Whatever the faiths you have known, if any, you are welcome here.
Whatever your race or where you were born, whatever your immigration status, you are welcome here.
Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your gender, you are welcome here.
We gather in community to restore the balance of our spirits, to celebrate the joys of life and find the strength to meet our sorrows, and, in the earliest meaning of the word worship, to consider ideas that are worthy of our time and attention.
In this tradition, we know that people need not think alike to love alike.
Now, may the sound of the bell and the music of the prelude help us to center ourselves as we enter into a time of worship.
Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday when your head is much lighter. Someday we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday when the world is much brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Someday we'll get it together and we'll get it all done. Someday when your head is much lighter. Someday we'll walk in the rays of a beautiful sun. Someday when the world is much brighter, brighter. Oh, child, things are gonna get easier. Oh, child. Oh, child. Oh, child. Things will get easier. Oh, child. Oh, child. Oh, child. Things will get easier.
Good morning. The opening words are "The Mold Our Deeds Leave" by Henry David Thoreau. Every part of nature teaches us that the passing away of one's life is making room for another. The oak dies down to the ground, leaving within it its rind a rich virgin mold, which will impart a vigorous life to an infant forest. The pine leaves a sandy and sterile soil, the harder woods a strong and fruitful mold. So this constant abrasion and decay makes the soil of my future growth. As I live now, so shall I reap. If I grow pines and birches, my virgin mold will not sustain the oak, but pines and birches, or perchance weeds and brambles, will constitute my second growth. Can you join us for the opening hymn, number 126, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing? And it's in the gray hymnal. I was like, what color is that?
Come thou fount of every blessing, to thy hearts to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy, never ceasing, over songs of loudest praise. For the hope of life's perfection fills our hearts with joy and love. Teach us ever to be faithful, may we still thy goodness prove. Come thou fount of every vision, lift our eyes to what may come. See the lion and the young lamb held together in thy home. Hear the cries of mournful silent, feel the love like the sun. When we all serve one another, then our heaven is begun. Come thou fount of inspiration, turn our lives to higher ways. Lift our gloom and desolation, show the promise of this day. Help us find ourselves in union, help our hands tell of our love. With thy aid, O fount of justice, earthly fairest ever above.
Seated. Our chalice lighting this morning is entitled Open to Possibility by Irene Glass. We kindle light and with it possibility. These we are more than the sum of our parts, that we are more than the sum of our parts, that the world is more than a problem to solve, that illumination is more than a simple flame. We light the chalice and open to possibility. And now we have a musical interlude, Maybe It's Time, performed by Bradley Cooper.
Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Takes a lot to change man. Hell, it takes a lot to try. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Nobody knows what waits for the dead. Nobody knows what waits for the dead. Some folks just believe in the things they've heard and the things they read. Nobody knows what waits for the dead. I'm glad I can't go back to where I came from. I'm glad those days are gone for good. But if I could take spirits from my past and bring them here, you know I would, know I would. Nobody speaks to God these days. Nobody speaks to God these days. I'd like to think he's looking down and laughing out of ways. Nobody speaks to God these days. But when I was a child, they tried to fool me. Said the world of man was lost and that hell was real. Well, I've seen hell in Reno, and this world's one big old Catherine wheel spinning still. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. It takes a lot to change your plans, hell, a train to change your mind. Maybe it's time to let the old ways die. Oh, maybe it's time to let the old ways die.
Of a covenantal community means that we take care of one another. We celebrate each other's joys and support one another through difficult times. So each Sunday we take a few minutes to hear the joys, sorrows, and gratitudes among us. As we do this, we also witness and remember the sorrows and struggles of people in the wider world. As we light a candle, we hold them in love. Anyone gathered here today who would like to share a joy, sorrow, or gratitude may go to the mic or raise your hand and have a mic brought to you. If you're on Zoom, put your message in the chat and we will read it aloud. A gentle reminder, this is not a time for announcements or politics or to share someone else's stories. As people speak, let's listen with attention and hold one another with love. Would anyone like to share? One of our tasks as a Unitarian Universalist community is to build loving relationships in our families, with our companions in this welcoming, inclusive fellowship, with our neighbors in the local community and the wider world.
Each Sunday, we ask for financial contributions so we can sustain the fellowship and reach out to all who seek a life-affirming message of belonging and hope. If you're online, click the link in the Zoom chat to contribute. If you're on site, you may place a donation in the basket or use your device to find the donate link on uufhc.net.
Your donations help members of this fellowship explore and grow within this community and radiate love and justice out into the world.
This fellowship's values, our 7 Unitarian Universalist values, are centered around love. Those values build community. Those values teach us to make neighbors of everyone we meet.
Now we invite you into a quiet state of mindfulness as we speak the 7 UU values. Consider what they mean for your life and the lives of others.
With love at the center, we care for one another and extend that care into the local community through actions for justice and equity. Each action, no matter how small, works toward the transformation of our world.
This fellowship intentionally welcomes the pluralism of beliefs. Our interdependence encourages us to learn and grow, and in the true spirit of generosity, to help our neighbors.
Can we play the offertory, please?
I thought everything was as it should be. I believed that it was all up to me, as if I was in control. Then I lost everything I thought that I knew. I couldn't see that you were leading me to something beautiful. Order, disorder, reorder over and over. Order, disorder, reorder over and over. It wouldn't be the way I choose, but this is how you make me new. So here I am, I'm all in. Though it feels like falling, that's what it takes for you to break through. Order, disorder, reorder over and over and over. And I thought the storm would never come to an end. I begged you again and again to send a miracle. But the storm was the way you broke my heart open wide to get to what was hidden inside and call it beautiful. Order, disorder, reorder over and over. So here I am, I'm all in. Though it feels like falling, if that's what it takes for you to break through, give me the strength when I'm afraid to say, here I go, I'm ready. I know you won't forget me. You'll give me the grace to find a way through. Order, disorder, reorder over and over and over. And I don't really want to change if I'm telling you the truth. But like it or not, your love won't stop till it makes me new. So give me all that you got from the bottom to top till I look like you. Order, disorder, reorder over and over. Order, disorder, reorder over and over. It wouldn't be the way I choose, but this is how you make me new. So here I am, I'm all in. Though it feels like falling, that's what it takes for you to break through. Give me the strength when I'm afraid to say, here I go, I'm ready. I know you won't forget me. You'll give me the grace to find a way through. Order, disorder, reorder over and over and over. Order, disorder, reorder. Order, disorder, reorder over and over and over.
Good morning and welcome. If you don't know me, I'm a Unitarian Universalist aspirant and a seminarian. This is another sermon that I wrote and preached for class last year, so I guess you're checking my homework. Thank you. This assignment was to use a personal narrative to find theological meaning, so it may be more personal than you've heard from me. The following quote by Richard Rohr: "Order by itself normally wants to eliminate any disorder and diversity, creating a narrow and cognitive rigidity in both people and systems. Disorder by itself closes us off from any primal union, meaning, and eventually even sanity in people and systems. Reorder or transformation of people and systems happens when both are seen to work together. Several years ago, I lost my Buddhist teacher, Esho, who worked with this very rough and untamed beginner's mind. I adored her, but from the time we met several years before, she was battling brain cancer. So the outcome was assured, so we made the best of the time. And then when I first started trail running years ago, really grieving her loss, I was out on a crisp, beautiful spring morning, processing her loss, and I came across the toppled tree, and from the roots were sprouting the most beautiful yellow flowers. And it struck me in that moment that often, for new things to happen and grow, old things must pass away and make room for the new. There seems to be a lesson in nature that we often fail to heed. There's an inevitable surrender to life in one form to grow something new. Our purpose here is to lay fertile ground for what comes after. Following the expression we often forget, a society grows great when people plant trees in whose shade they will never sit. Richard Rohr talks about this larger process in creation and humanity and our faith as order, disorder, and reorder. And I'm quite sure he's not the first, but definitely the one that spoke to me when I needed it most. In the first stage is order, and this is the structure, the container, the rules to learn how to be in a family, a community, and a faith tradition. These are necessary steps in development, understanding the basic expectations and boundaries. In my relationship with my teacher, she often referred to the containers we make and the stories we tell each other. She herself built a container, the Baltimore Dharma Group, where I learned how to be in a Zendo, the forms of Zen practice, and the basics of being in a community of practitioners. The second stage is the disorder. This is where somehow the rules are ruptured. A divorce, a death, an illness, a loss of a job or a career, coming out as queer, or disruption in the political systems we have known. This previous container no longer works or makes sense, where everything now is in question. With respect to my teacher, her loss meant our Zendo and Sangha no longer existed, and I was lost. Most recently, I experienced disorder when I went through a prolonged and difficult divorce after 22 years in partnership. And in a matter of months, we lost access to our home, family, security, a future uncertain financially, and with a 5-year-old to be responsible for. And it was everything, everywhere, all at once. It was a container that represented success. I had done all the right things, had a family, had our dream home in a respectable neighborhood, and a good, steady job. We are all humans, and oftentimes our nature is to cling desperately to structure. At least it works for me. Or I have learned how to navigate it, even if it's dysfunctional. And I'm especially stubborn, and I've always said that the universe has to knock me off course and onto the right one to stop me from clinging to things that no longer serve me. Rohr says the ego is that part of you that loves the status quo even when it's not working. It attaches to the past and present and fears the future. This initial container is dangerous if we stay in its safe confines too long. It is small and self-serving. It doesn't know the full picture, but it thinks it does. Order must be deconstructed by the trials and vagaries of life. We must go through a period of disorder to grow up. And there are no quick fixes to get rid of our pain before we learn what it has to teach us. Most of religion gives answers too quickly, dismisses pain too easily, and seeks to be distracted. To maintain some ideal order, all things happen for the good, for God's glory, time heals all wounds. So we must resist this instant fix and acknowledge ourselves as beginners, open to true transformation. Just as the loss of my teacher, my home, and my family as I knew it, I felt deeply the disorder and lack of container to hold me. I strongly suspect that as I look around in our country, our culture is in a state of order, disorder, and reorder. It feels like we're in the place of disorder right now in arresting and deporting people, the overarching power and control of the wealthy, and the disregard to people on the margins. What gives me hope about this place in time is understanding, as it has for me in my own life, that it is necessary pain to arrive at our true self. I see a collective resistance by people to opening the containers of racism, homophobia, greed, and capitalism that have kept them safe for so long in this place of disorder that is rejecting those containers. I also recognize that these containers have benefited me and propped me up, and that ripping it off will be painful for everyone, especially those on the margins. I suspect the most pain is felt by those who are fighting these age-old containers that have been kept tight for over 400 years now, containers built on top of indigenous graves by enslaved people, by poor and marginalized people, and by immigrants they deny exist. Good news, the final phase of this process is the reorder. It is the final enlightened stage of spiritual growth, following order and disorder, in which one embraces paradox, accepts imperfection, and finds the divine amidst life's losses and tragedies. It is the resurrection phase where everything belongs, allowing for a new, deeper, and more inclusive reality. There is no direct flight from order to reorder. Unfortunately, you must go through disorder. In this phase of reorder, according to Rohr, all that you have avoided for the sake of a manufactured ego ideal comes back as a true friend and teacher. Doers become thinkers, feelers become doers, thinkers become feelers, extroverts become introverts, visionaries become practical, and the practical ones long for vision. As I went through my own personal container shredding of divorce, after the grief, I was determined to use it as an opportunity to reorder my life. I got a tattoo on my forearm from Thich Nhat Hanh, which reads, "No mud, no lotus," as a reminder that beautiful things can bloom from the darkest of mud. And I was determined to use this time to grow beautiful things in my life, just as the blooms from the tree roots on that trail. It broke me open, and I understood more deeply what it meant to need help and to have a full community of love and support. I invested my time and energy into things I love, my art, my faith, and my community. I began to understand that pain was necessary, but not forever, and the fertile soil for growth, building a new life that allowed the deepening of roots of things that would grow beyond me. It opened me to deeper empathy and other people's grief. It deepened my faith in multidimensional ways beyond a single structure, seeing the beauty in the diversity of people and beliefs as wide and varied as nature itself. It was a period of deep personal growth that was richer and more meaningful than my original container could hold and that my ego would allow. My experience of order, disorder, and reorder gives me peace in these times to believe that the disorder that we're experiencing If we continue to pursue our values, we'll reset a system that is indeed richer, more expansive, and inclusive than the original container could ever hold. Reorder demonstrated by nature becomes so evident to me in my trip last year to Mount St. Helens in Washington. I thought of this idea of order, disorder, and reorder, and I marvel so much at how nature can take care of itself. Before the eruption in 1980, it was a beautiful, pristine mountain, the 5th highest in Washington state, with wildlife and 3 streams that enter the 3 main river systems in the area. And on May 19th, 1980, an earthquake triggered its eruption, leaving thousands of square miles of ash and wasteland. And 45 years later, today, without any human intervention, it had reordered itself into a vibrant, thriving landscape faster than anyone could have estimated. What saved this area was the resilience of the plants and animals that did survive, restoring fertile soil beneath the ash so new life could grow and attract birds and wildlife. My teacher taught me a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh: "The cloud does not need to die in order to become rain. The cloud can become rain, and the rain can become tea." I remember her, this quote, and her visceral example of impermanence. I felt like affirmation and understanding of the divine and the lessons of nature for my own personal life and our collective culture. I felt connected with Thoreau and his diary writings he left us, where he says, "Every part of nature teaches us that the passing away of one's life is the making room for another. The oak dies down to the ground, leaving within its rind a rich virgin mold, which will impart a vigorous life to an infant forest. The pine leaves a sandy and sterile soil, the harder woods a strong and fruitful mold. So this constant abrasion and decay makes the soil of my future growth." I felt at peace with all that is part of the cycle of order, disorder, and reorder. Some are individually and collectively stuck in the containers that no longer serve them or the collective good. Many of us here have been through these times, and for those of us who have been through this process or understand it, we can be the midwives for those going through it, both individually and collectively. I understand more deeply now, and although I certainly do not crave disorder, but often it is the necessary and universal process of growth, death, and rebirth, as an opportunity to build something apart from my ego, our collective ego, into a broader, deeper, more and inclusive and empathetic system that is wiser and not rooted in our false notion of who we are, but a real and embodied version of who we are called to be. May it be so.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We can feed our every need, every need. We can feed our
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. A new way. A new way. A new way. A new
All right. That was so good, we'll do it again. Just as we're getting into it, right? All right. Join me in the benediction. As we leave this space today, may we understand the cycle of life as it intersects us and calls us into this moment, as we take on our role of prophets, leading us into sacred spaces by deconstructing the old spaces that no longer serve us individually or collectively. May we recognize the priests within and among us to teach us how to live more wholly into these new sacred spaces that we build together for and with all included and centered on love. May we become the fertile soil to manifest a diverse and bountiful new way in this world. Music. Now, if you'll join us and read with us the chalice extinguishing. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts, with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in, until we are together again. Announcements, and there is potluck after the service, so are there any other announcements?
No one came up to me and asked to make an announcement, but I see Trish is coming up.
Oh,
Yay!
did you get permission, Trish?
And anyone else who might need to make an announcement, line up behind Trish.
I almost forgot. I'm here on behalf of the Compassion Care team. And at our last meeting, we wanted to talk about gratitude for a group of people who are our greeters. And we had this discussion about how the greeters have changed and how much Valerie Green has done to change the configuration of the, and Hazel Hopkins, and the configuration of the lobby, and trying to make it more welcoming, and we've had more visitors, and we have more greeters, and then also the concept that we are all greeters all the time. So I just wanted to thank the greeters and then all of us for doing the best that we can to welcome people who come here and see if we can all be part of this community. So thank you.
And Aaron, of course, has to have the last word.
I always forget and then I remember. So a lot of you know we have been working, I created an organization called Heart for Mutual Aid. We've been serving a family who is suffering because of the horrible immigration policies. St. John's Cupboard in Havre Grace is a food, they have a food pantry and they do weekly distributions. So since we started, they have been putting aside a really good share of food that we were able then to provide to this family. Their cupboards are getting bare. So there will be some more information in News Bites about specifically what they're looking for. But if we bring stuff here, I can get it to them. So be on the lookout because we're going to hopefully help restock their cupboard and show our appreciation from them taking on that big portion of it. So thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Let's eat.
Yeah, let's eat.
Let's eat.
Please
Thank
join
you.
us for pop.